the Tristen Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristen Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, and today, I'm your host. Well, WrestleMania has always been ours. From Madison Square Garden to the SoFi Stadium, it was the one event that belonged to us. Here in the fans at home, yeah, Canada got it a little bit too. But you know what? Not anymore. WWE just sold the biggest wrestling show in the world to Saudi Arabia, and a lot of us are furious, and that's why we're here today. Here's the reality. Saudi Arabia, they opened up the vault, they wrote a blank check, and WWE took it. American fans, yeah, we complain about the product, but in Saudi Arabia, they treat it like it's the Super Bowl. And the trade-off, that's the trade-off. And now the biggest question of all is on the table. Is this progress, or is this just a flat-out sellout? That's what we're talking today. Would you get on a plane to go to WrestleMania Saudi Arabia, or should it have never left America in the first place? That is what we're talking about today. When you're looking at everything, when it comes to, and thank you so much for joining me. We're live right now, and feel free to call the promo hotline, 973-826-0101. Let everybody know how you feel. You know what? I might put you on a future show. Complain about the show, whatever. Right now in the comments, Universal is here. I see him checking in early. He's going to be probably the one leading the comments and the conversation in the live chat. So make sure that you participate, because we've got a lot to talk about today on the Tristen Law Show. But look, when you're looking at the whole entire thing at Saudi Arabia, in case you didn't know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer getting WrestleMania anymore. WrestleMania is not going to be anywhere in America. The Turkish Alalshikh, I don't know how to say the guy's name, but Al-Shiki, the head of Saudi Arabia's GEA, the General Entertainment Authority, accidentally, that man right there next to Triple H, him and his people leaked that WrestleMania 43 was going to Saudi Arabia, and that's not something that we wanted. They get Crown Jewel, Greatest Royal Rumble. They already make a lot of money for WWE, tens of millions of dollars. And WrestleMania, it's going to multiply that tenfold. It's about money, I think. When we're looking at us here, American fans, right? And Fernando's here. What's going on, Fernando? For American fans, I'm talking to anybody that's in America right now. If you're in Canada, if you're in Mexico, if you're anywhere other than America, just take a seat right now. Just listen, because I'm talking to us Americans. The issue is that we have streaming fatigue. We gotta have ESPN. We gotta have a cable package. Maybe we stream from them. Then we're gonna have Peacock. Then we need to have Tubi. Then we need to have YouTube. Just to watch so much damn wrestling, but everywhere in the world, they get just one app. They just get Netflix, and we have to do everything just to watch all the wrestling. Ticket prices. I went to SummerSlam, and I'm not gonna lie, I spent probably $800 going to watch SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium. You know what I had to do for that? Get your mind out the gutter. But what I had to do, though, was I had to work hard. I had to save up all my money and only eat French fries from McDonald's. We are constantly complaining here in America, and rightfully so, about everything that in regards to the WWE. We complain about everything. Oh, it's too expensive to watch the television shows. Oh, it's too expensive to go watch the shows in person. And it's true. It's true. I thought about today canceling my Sling TV subscription because I pay $50 in change per month just to watch SmackDown. It's a waste of money. I'm tired of wasting the money. I remember when you used to be able to go to Madison Square Garden, and if you couldn't afford anything, you could at least get a $50 ticket. But not in today's America. It's not happening. If you want to get there, the $75 tickets, that the scalpers are buying the tickets so quickly, they jack up the price because WWE is using dynamic pricing. It's expensive to be a WWE fan in America, and they still want you to buy a t-shirt when you go to the event. Saudi Arabian fans, they treat all these events that they're getting like life-changing spectacles. They buy the tickets. The second it comes out, they buy the tickets. They can't wait. Oh, WWE is coming to town. We need to go ahead and buy those tickets right now. The way that I'm looking at it like this, and I'm a 40-year-old man, so a lot of you guys in this age group, you might be able to relate with what I'm about to say next. Think of it like this. Christmas 1991, when you begged for that one gift all summer. So on Christmas Day, you sat under the tree, you pulled out the biggest box, and there it was, a Super Nintendo, and it had another controller in it so you can play with your little brother. That's what happened to me. In America, we treat all these WWE events like we're getting socks for Christmas. Yeah! Look, man, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. We complain about everything, but you know what? It's our company, right? It's our company. It's an American company. I would get it if they were another company from someplace else and they want to bamboozle, flim-flam, and scam us, but it's our company, right? Make it affordable for us. Why there no at least, cheap seats that I can sit somewhere and get cheap seats to watch the event? But no. If I wanted cheap seats to go watch WWE, I have to go to Fandango, and not the singer, not the dancer, not the wrestler, talking about the movie people, just to go ahead and watch WWE. I need to relax. Let's go to the chat. All right, let's see. Universal says that I need to know the Saudi government and WWE before TKO signed a 10-year contract. That is true. In the 10-year contract, it was agreed that there would be a WrestleMania and Rumble during the 10-year contract. Oh, okay. All right, fine. So I guess if they signed them in the contract, I guess it was always inevitable, right? Fernando's checking in. He says, Buenos Dias. Universal comes back and says the contract has 2 years left. That's why they're getting a Rumble and Mania now, because the contract is ended so soon. All right, makes sense. Makes sense. Fernando says he's very disappointed with the decision of WWE bringing WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia. Fernando also checks in and says, most of us wrestling fan base has a blue-collar income. The raising of the ticket price is going to damage the business in WWE.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. But look, business side guaranteed, this government money that WWE is getting from Saudi Arabia, I'm not going to lie. Looking at it from a business point of view, I would rather get the guaranteed government money than the regular money in America that you're just waiting for everybody to come in. But look, let me ask you this here. If you're Triple H, if you're the people that run the WWE Nick Khan, could you really say no to that payday? That's the real question right now. Whether you're listening live or on demand, let me know. Can you actually give up that payday of what they would pay for WWE to be in Saudi Arabia? Like, golly. Like, I got a couple bills that need to be paid, but what happened next when you sell out tradition? Let's talk about the identity next. You know what? I got a hot take for you. And I be trying to make my hot takes not be so disrespectful, but my hot take is, y'all see that picture right there? Y'all see that? I'm going to give you the hot take that goes with that picture. And if you're not watching live or you're not watching the video, you're just listening to my voice, you're missing out. WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia is like sending the Statue of Liberty back to France. I said it. Sorry. WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia is like America sending the Statue of Liberty back to France. There's just some stuff you don't do. Like, I get it. Universal is in the chat right now and says that TKO WWE is also $4 billion in debt. But you know what? Maybe they shouldn't have bought the cowboy racing thing. Maybe they shouldn't have went on to put boxing on in Las Vegas last night. Maybe they should have made better decisions with their money. But you know what? They didn't. And we are the fans that we have to be the ones that pay for it. WrestleMania was always branded as the Super Bowl of wrestling here in America. Don't get it wrong. Canada got a little bit of love too, right? With the exception being WrestleMania 6 and 18 in Toronto, but it's still Western culture. Saudi Arabia is a cultural and political leap. And it's not just geographic. It's not like they're going to London. It's not like they're going back to France. And stop going to France because y'all go to France too damn much. It's geographic. It's cultural. they go halfway across the world just to perform it from a different audience. I get that. That's fine. That's fine. Let everybody else get a little bit of love, but damn though, WrestleMania? But let me tell you this though. I got one that's going to hit, right? When you look at WWE's stance though, WWF, I'm not talking about E now. We're putting the F back in. We're getting the F back in. WWF, when Vince McMahon bought it from his father, his idea was to always go global. So thus Saudi Arabia getting WrestleMania aligned with the vision that Vince McMahon wanted WWE to be the global pro wrestling organization. I think that global dominance was always the plan, right? It was going back to the territory days. I'm not old enough to remember the territory days. It wasn't for me. All I know is that there's one conglomerate, and that is WWFE. We're going to get the F back out. WWE, and it's always been that way. So it's not, WWE's not always been exclusive. But I think that WrestleMania should still be exclusive. It's a slippery slope though, right? Because if money decides in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia got more money than Jesus got disciples, right? If money decides everything in Saudi Arabia, could Saudi Arabia one day host the Super Bowl? Maybe the World Cup? The NBA Finals? Being 100% honest with all of you that are watching right now, live or on demand, or listening to my voice, if it wasn't WWE, could have easily been somebody else. Damn, I just said that. If it wasn't WWE, it could have easily been anybody else. AEW would have done it. TNA would have done it. But what Saudi Arabia was, they wanted to give the global pro wrestling conglomerate the first right of refusal. Anybody that is running a business would have said, you know what, I'm going to go take that Saudi Arabian money. Once that contract is up in 10 years, in 2 years, I 100% guarantee if Tony Khan has a brain in his head, which I think he does, I'm not saying that he's an idiot. I'm just trying to make a point here. If Tony Khan has a brain in his head, the first call he's making, the first person that they're going to hear from in Saudi Arabia is Tony Khan. What is AEW going to be able to provide that WWE can't right now? I don't know. But the whole point that I'm making is that if it's not WWE, it could have been anybody else. If WWE decides for whatever reason that they don't want to become interested in that, it's going to happen either way or another. For U.S. fans, though, for us that live here in America, the issue is timing, right? With everything that's happening in the world right now, right? They got this guy in the White House, and this is not a political thing. He talk about he want to make America great again. Ain't he friends with Triple H and them? Why did he let WWE go over to Saudi Arabia with WrestleMania? Why did he say, you know what, we're going to keep WrestleMania here in America, and I'm going to make sure it happens? If you want to make America so great again, the first thing you should have did is not betray the place to where you're a WWE Hall of Fame. You know what's real crazy, though? In 100 years, they're going to look at the WWE Hall of Fame, and they are going to say, the President of the United States was in the WWE Hall of Fame. What the hell was wrong with America? I don't know. The travel costs to go over to Saudi Arabia? Go ahead and go on a plane to Saudi Arabia. It's one thing to go from Saudi Arabia from United States to Canada, United States to Mexico, United States to London, but you're going to Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia. How much money is that going to cost? I'm going to have to sell my kidneys? Or how many kidneys do I have? I don't know. It's not a biology class. The sense of ownership that we have for WrestleMania is gone. We don't own it anymore. WrestleMania is not us. They're going to go to this other country. They're probably not even going to sing the national anthem. They're not going to sing America the Beautiful. That's not happening. There are certain things that are ingrained into the identity of WrestleMania, into the WWE, and it's just gone. We don't have it anymore. Would you still call it WrestleMania if it aired at 10 a.m. Eastern time? Is it still WrestleMania? Yeah, don't get it wrong. I get 2 nights of WrestleMania, and I get the ability that I will, get to watch WrestleMania, and I probably won't have to miss a day of work. Yeah, that's nice. People are probably missing church to watch WrestleMania at 10 a.m. Like, come on. Come on. I'm hot in here. Let's go to the chat. Universe says that, Tristen, there are soccer stadiums in Europe and Asia that have at least 100,000 attendances. Imagine when they put a wrestling ring in the middle, how much more people they could put in there. Universal says to bring Mania and other of the top tier shows make sense. Right now, they are making more money overseas than they are making in the US and Canada. You're right. You're right, because we're complaining that it's too much. So what they said was, you know what? Let's go someplace else to where they can afford it. Universal says the host country picks up fees and travel costs. Saudi has picked up all the travel costs for all the events they've had thus far. You're 100% right. I'm going to give you a hand clap for that. You know a lot, Universal. When you're done, check your email. I emailed you back this morning. And you know that you guys can always email me at tristenlawshowmedia@gmail.com. What we're building here is a community. I'm not just a guy that comes in here and just talks and just allows you to watch. We're building a whole entire community here. You can call the promo hotline. Leave me your fire take. Leave me your fire take. That's what I want to hear. If you leave me your fire take at 973-821-0101, if it's good, I'm going to make sure it comes on the air. Because, look, it's two-way. We have conversations here. Yes, getting WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or those things, they're on the level of getting the Super Bowl. That these local cities have to roll out the red carpet. And I ain't gonna lie. Saudi Arabia rolled out the red carpet. WWE looked at it and goes, well, you know what? There's a lot of green in our bank account if we go to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. But it doesn't mean that we are not supposed to be angry. But tradition is one thing, right? We just finished talking about the tradition of WrestleMania. But women's wrestling in Saudi Arabia, oh, that's a whole entire other fight. What WWE is doing is that they're making history. But the way that they're making history is that they're making history with handcuffs on. When you're looking at wrestling for the woman in Saudi Arabia, the first women's match in Saudi Arabia, it was Natalya and Lacey Evans, and I think it was 2019, and that was hyped as groundbreaking. But women must wrestle, cover head to toe, no skin, no typical ring gear. Listen to me. Hear me what I'm telling you. The men, and I'm not disrespecting anybody's culture. We don't do that here. We don't disrespect anybody for whoever they choose to sleep with, for what they look like, who they pray with. But the point that I'm trying to make right now is that I get that's their culture, but it's their costume that they wear in the ring. Why do the men get to run around and get to wrestle in their briefs, and the ladies have to wrestle head to toe? One of the things when I wrestled, semi-retired pro wrestler Tristen Law, host of the Tristen Law Show, when I wrestled, I used to always hate wearing long tights. You know why? Because you sweat, and then you have to peel them off of you. Yeah, I could have easily worn like an Under Armour or something underneath, but then I got to peel that off of me as well too. Listen. I feel like the ladies don't get to be their true selves when they go to Saudi Arabia. I feel that the ladies shouldn't have to be covered head to toe. Okay, maybe you want them to wear a long pants. Maybe they could wear a little top or something like that, right? But when you're wrestling out there, underneath the lights, your adrenaline is going, it's hot. You legit sweat. Don't let anybody tell you that pro wrestling is not an athletic sport. I've only done it under the hot lights of MCU Park Stadium in Brooklyn one time. And I sweat when I'm not wrestling under the hot lights. Imagine what it's like to be a WWE superstar. Imagine. But they're all dressed up, covered head to toe, no typical ring gear. But what WWE does, though, is that they spin it as progress. But the authenticity, it's stripped away. It's not women's wrestling. And I personally think, despite what they said on the press release or the press conference yesterday, that, they cheer for the women and stuff like that. I don't know. It sounds different to me when I watch on the TV. but I implore you to do this. Go watch WWE one of the Saudi Arabia shows. You tell me. I feel like it's a much different vibe, especially for the women. They don't cheer as hard for the women. The women are just as good as the men, and I'm working, listen, I'm working real hard to get a woman's point of view here, because I can't speak for a woman because I'm not a woman. I can't think like a woman. I love women, but I'm not a woman. I want a woman's personality here, and I'm working hard, and I think I got somebody that is good enough that can come on the show and talk to us and give us the woman's point of view. But I feel like when the women are wrestling in Saudi Arabia, they're not their true selves. They're handcuffed. The whole entire time, they're handcuffed. When you look at the 2019 WrestleMania main event, WrestleMania 35, the last WrestleMania I went to, the last pre-pandemic WrestleMania, pre-pandemic. The main event was Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. A moment like that is 1,000% impossible in Saudi Arabia. I don't see Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte ever happening if it was in Saudi Arabia. Maybe we can go to WrestleMania 43 and something will be different. But I don't see Ronda, Becky, or Charlotte happening in Saudi Arabia at all because they probably don't care that much. I'm sorry. I'm just telling the truth here. That's just what we do here. That's just what we do. I keep it unadulterated. I keep it unfiltered. And I give you my raw thoughts. And what I ask you for you to do is to give me my raw thoughts as well, too, in the chat. Let's go to the chat and see what it says. Fernando says, I did not know that we could email you. That's really cool. Yes. Tristen Law Show Media at gmail.com. Email me. If you want to talk about the show or you got an idea or whatever it is, talk, email me. Email me. We're a family here. It's a community. We're here together. Email me. I see other podcasts. They don't give you the ability to email the host. Email the host. Why the hell not? If you ever saw me in public, stop and talk to me. I mean, if you catch me when I'm working, I might be in a rush. But if you ever saw me in public, we can stop and chop it up for a little bit. I always said, when I was wrestling, I always said that on the way up, people don't diss people on the way up. Because on the way down, you're going to have to kiss all those asses on the way down. And for me, I always said that when I made it to the WWE, I'm still going to be the same OG. I've still had the same phone number. No, you're not getting my personal phone number. Stop it. You already got my email address. I always said that if I ever made it to WWE or if this makes me famous or whatever it may be, I'll still be the same OG. I just have a little bit extra money. I'll still be the same old guy that still likes to talk about wrestling. I'll still try to win the Father of the Year award. I'll still stop up and chop it up with random people in the street. That's just what I do. So yes, Fernando, anybody that is listening to my voice, you can email me, tristenlawshowmedia@gmail.com. Let's go back to the chat. Universal says, Tristen, I 100% agree with you regarding the women's situation. It's very difficult. Fernando checks in and says, I agree. The women should not have to cover up the way that they do. Some of the Saudi culture is sexist. Nothing wrong to speak up about it. Universal checks in and says, it's a lot more than just sexist. You know what? I'm going to give you guys a hand clap. Because you guys are really coming into the chat today. I'm not saying that the ladies should have to run around out there and wrestle naked. It may not be something that they want to do. But if you want the WWE, if you want the American culture, if you want what we do here in America, you should take it all the way. No, you cannot order the cheeseburger from McDonald's and take off the onions. The onions are the best part. No, you can't order the cheeseburger from McDonald's and take off the pickles. Damn it, my mouth is watering. Damn. I didn't eat no breakfast yet. My mouth is watering. If you want WrestleMania in your country, Saudi Arabia, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, if you want Saudi Arabia in your company, take the WWE as it is. Take it as it is. If you feel that it goes outside your norm, if you feel that it goes outside your norm of what is reasonable, then don't take it. But then you look at the WWE, right? If it goes outside of their cultural norm, what do? Do you leave the money And like, come on, like, $1 Million Man said it himself. Everybody has a price. Damn it, WWE definitely showed their price. Let's go back to the chat. Fernando, let's see, Fernando. Okay, Fernando says that you'll be famous at this, for sure. You know what it is, Fernando? Thank you for that comment. You know what it is? Because I watch wrestling podcasts. I watch a lot of YouTube. One of my friends, Felicia, she has the Storyline podcast. I watch hers. My friend Dave Knows Wrestling, huge YouTube channel, really close personal friend of mine. I need to give Dave a call today. But I like wrestling. I like wrestling so much that I had the ability to go and be in the ring. My dream was to get to the WWE, but I never had the confidence in myself, but I always loved radio. I worked on the radio for a little bit as a country music host. And then, you know, I went to broadcasting school and stuff like that. And this is the closest that I can get without being on the actual radio. I enjoy talking to the people. I'm a man of the people. I love talking to the people. I love interacting with you guys. I love being your voice and giving you the place to be, to have your voice heard. When you look at the payday reality, though, with this whole entire thing, the women are paid handsomely, beautifully when they go to Saudi Arabia. But look, let's talk straight facts right now. At what cost is it to their identity? Yeah, they're just playing a character. I get it. But there has to be a time when you go, you know what, maybe we're going a little bit too far. But damn, I really want to see what some of them Saudi Arabia checks look like versus everything else. If you're in the WWE, you're usually, as a wrestler, you're usually responsible for your transportation. The way that WWE does it is that you're usually responsible to, they're responsible for flying you to the city, the first city when you're on the loop. Let's say you do like Boston, then you do Connecticut, and then, you know, your last day is always TV. So let's say you end at Madison Square Garden. So if you live in Florida, they'll pay you to fly to Boston, the first town. And if the last town is Madison Square Garden, what they do is that they'll pay you to go back. But everything else in between, you're on your own. Unless you're a good negotiator and you negotiate your contract to be something different. So going to Saudi Arabia, if you're one of those people that don't have that term negotiating your contract, you can go to Saudi Arabia, make a little bit more money than you would in America and still don't have to pay for transportation and everything else. I mean, I guess it's kind of a win, right? Like, damn. Let me ask you guys a question. Whether we're watching live or on demand, you know what? Or maybe what you can do with it is you can call the promo hotline. Call the promo hotline at 973-826-0101. Here's the question. Would you take the money if it meant hiding who you were in the ring? I was a wrestler. I honestly don't know the answer to that question for myself, but I'd love to hear from you. 973-826-0101. And to be quite frank, honest, it doesn't matter when you hear this show. Maybe you might hear this show 6 weeks from now. You might watch the show 6 weeks from now. Still call the hotline, 973-826-0101, or send me email at tristenlawshowmedia@gmail.com. I don't know if I could go to Saudi Arabia and not sell myself out. I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest. I got a 2-year-old son who's almost 3. I'm fully invested in his future so that he doesn't have to get jobs like I had to get jobs. I've worked more jobs than they have names in the phone book, okay? And I want him to have a great start at life. You know, I would like to have a full-fledged studio, like a studio with flashing lights and everything else like that. Like I have dreams for the Tristen Law Show. Me going to Saudi Arabia one time could fix all of that. Student loan debt, still got to pay student loans. Maybe going to Saudi Arabia, that Saudi Arabia money might help pay off some of the student loans. I don't know. But if we're talking about WWE going to Saudi Arabia with WrestleMania, and we just talked about the woman, and if that's restrictive, wait until you hear about the baggage. The baggage I said that WWE is carrying around when they head over to Saudi Arabia. Y'all want another hot take? Y'all want another hot take? I'll give you a hot take right now. This deal, this whole 10-year deal with the WWE and Saudi Arabia, this deal has more baggage than a main eventer on a European tour. There's a lot of baggage when it comes to going to Europe. I mean, going to Saudi Arabia with the WWE. In 2018, they had an assassination that was tied back to Saudi Arabia. John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and others, they refused to go. 2019, the travel fiasco in one of those bags that the gentleman is holding there. Dozens of wrestlers stranded on the tarmac for 7 hours. Some say it was mechanical part problems, and some say that WWE wrestlers were being held hostage after Saudi Arabia had a disagreement with Vince McMahon. Why you want to go to Saudi Arabia if that's the case? I mean, it's the money. The money got to be that good, because if they were held hostage, they've been back plenty of times. I don't know. Maybe they need a WWE Unreal on that. Maybe they need a WWE talking about, maybe when they're done with the contract one day, somebody out there knows what really happened, but we've never publicly heard. Maybe it was just mechanical problems. Maybe they need to put some air in the aircraft wheels. Could have been, but we just don't know. But multiple wrestlers, they vowed that they wouldn't return. And they still went back either way. Maybe look, imagine, right? Your homeboys go over there and you're like, nah, I'm not going over there because that's not what I believe. And they come back from Saudi Arabia and be like, yo, but the money's good. The food is good. You don't got to pay for nothing. All you got to do is show up to the airport. They fly you to the airport. Fly you to Saudi Arabia. You do what you got to do. You get on the plane and you go home. At that point, it's just like, damn. It's just like, damn, like, all right, well, you know what? Maybe the internet will forget what I said and how I felt, and I could just go collect the money. I don't know. The internet is very unforgiving. Shareholders have lawsuits against the WWE misleading investors about the Saudi deal. Backstage distrust, talent not told the full story, so suspicion lingers for years later, like why they were on the tarmac for 7+ hours. I'm a big ass dude. I'm tall. And I hate going into aircraft bathrooms, right? Because my head, the ceiling is literally on my head. I usually try to go to the airport because I'm cheap. I usually try to go to the airport early and see if I can, like, sweet talk the person at the desk and putting me in the extra legroom seat. I do that, right? But I can't sit in a regular seat because I'm folded up like an envelope, and by the time I get out, all you hear is gunshots because my knees are popping, my back is popping, everything's hurt, I gotta stretch. Imagine sitting on that plane for 7 hours. Would you risk flying your career? Would you risk your career flying to Saudi Arabia after that mess? Would you have said to WWE, you know what, all sounds all nice and dandy, but you know what, that's not about me. Sami Zayn said that he was never going to go to Saudi Arabia, but he was in Saudi Arabia at the last WWE PLE in Saudi Arabia. So that's where I scratch my head. I don't know where we are with this. But this all ties into a bigger game in Saudi Arabia. You don't know what I'm talking about? The bigger game is? The bigger game that I'm talking about that's happening in Saudi Arabia, it's called sports washing. Saudi Arabia, what they are doing is that they aren't just buying events, they're buying credibility. They LIV Golf, right? Here's some of the sports that they've sports watched. LIV Golf, they poached PGA talent with massive contracts. LIV Golf, LIV Golf, is backed by the Saudi Arabian wallet. Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and other soccer icons, they have signed big deals when it comes to Saudi Arabia and it comes to soccer. Tyson Fury versus Ngannou, Saudi Arabia backed that mega fight. UFC and boxing, UFC is WWE, right? But UFC is definitely balls deep with boxing and WWE in Saudi Arabia. If you ask me, sorry guys, but if you ask me, WrestleMania kind of fits perfectly. I'm not trying to have a pun right now, but pro wrestling's crown jewel, that's global PR for the WWE. But it's also, all this is also global PR for Saudi Arabia. They get the ability to say, well, you know what? We're not thinking the way that the rest of the other Islamic Muslim faith countries believe. We love America. Look, we have wrestling here. We have boxing here from America. They just take everything America and just say, hey, look, we love America. We don't think like them. Now give us your money. The long game is that Riyadh is going to be known as the worldwide capital for sports. Las Vegas and Atlantic City used to be known for boxing one time. It's like, all right, as the WWE, if everybody's collecting the money, you can just really sit there and just not go collect your share. I'm like, all right, I know a lot of us that are watching right now, whether you're watching live or on demand or just listening to my voice on the audio-only version, we got bills that we got to pay. Would you still go to Saudi Arabia? Some say that Saudi Arabia is trying to fix their global image using American sports. If you want people to make you feel like you're super American friendly, roll out. Look, let me tell you how diabolical this whole thing even seems on paper, right? So what you do is everybody thinks that you hate America, especially after 9/11 and Osama bin Laden was from your country. What you do is you bring in American sports. You bring in one sport. And then what you do is you roll out the red carpet for them. And then what they all do is they go to these sports conventions and they all tell everybody, oh my God, Saudi Arabia was so good. They treated us so good. We got to hang out with the prince. We got this, we got that. It was such a great time. And then they go, oh, so you said the food was good? Well, talk about the money. Because at the end of the day, there's only one thing that matters in business, and that's the money. The real question here is how long before the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, and even the Olympics follow to go to Saudi Arabia? Do you even care where WrestleMania is if the card delivers? That's a real question. Do you even care where WrestleMania is if the card delivers? Or does location matter more than the show? Let's go back to the chat. Universal said, Tristen, like you said earlier, everyone has a price. You have to do the laugh after. The $1 Million Man. Name one wrestler that hasn't gone to Saudi. All of the wrestlers that refused in the past have all gone now. Yeah, you're right. Universal says, right now, oil is king. When the oil is gone, there's no more king. You know what? You get a hand clap for that. Look, I wish I had a little bit of oil money right now coming in. You know, the Tristen Law Show is brought to you by, oh my God, we've got that oil money. The thing, though, is that fans have already spoken. They've spoken. They've been on social media. The only reason I thought about doing this episode today is because I was on Threads, and I'm like, nah, come on. Don't bring the WWE to Saudi Arabia. And I said this months before, and now WWE is in Saudi Arabia. Fans have already spoken, and they're not holding back. They're WWE fans, American fans, they're not shutting up about this. This is probably the first time that all pro wrestling fans in years were unanimously on the same page. With Vince McMahon, everybody's on a different page. With Brock Lesnar, everybody's on a different page. With The Rock coming back, Fire and Boss, different page. But with this here, I think every single pro wrestling fan is on the same page, and it's for once not in a favor of the WWE at all. Newsweek reported that fan backlash was overwhelmingly one-sided against Saudi Arabia hosting WWE's events. The common reaction that you see online is WWE sold out. WrestleMania should always stay in the U.S., and fans, they feel alienated, and we in America, we feel ignored. And we as Americans, we don't like to be ignored, because when we get ignored, we get annoying. And that's why we're on the internet making noise. That's why an episode like this, WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, the sellout of the century, can live on two legs. That's why the chat is on fire, and that's why you're going to call the Pro Wrestling Hotline, and that's why you're going to email me, because we are going to talk about it. There's going to be no shows next week. Got to take care of some business next week. There'll be no episodes next week, but feel free to send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Let's go ahead and do that. Or you can call the Pro Wrestling Hotline. If you call the Pro Wrestling Hotline, you're not going to get to talk to me. Just leave a message. You can send a text. I'm probably not going to text you back. But if you send me an email, you got a good chance of hearing from me there. And you know what? You never know what portions I will take and put it on the show. But look, WWE fans, look, America, the reality check here is that by all of us feeling upset all of us raging online, it doesn't stop the streaming numbers. We're still watching. WWE, they bank on the cycle. They bank on the outrage. They bank on the trend. And at the end of the day, everybody is still watching anyway. I mean, let's be honest. If you feel upset that WWE is going to Saudi Arabia, don't watch. How many of you have actually not watched? How about when WrestleMania goes to Saudi Arabia in 2027? What if you just cancel your ESPN subscription or your Netflix subscription for that whole entire month leading up to WrestleMania? How about that? How about in America, if y'all feel so angry, if we feel so angry that the prices are too expensive, that WWE is bringing WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia, they're bringing the Royal Rumble to Saudi Arabia, how about we stop going to WWE events here in America? How about y'all stop wearing them damn John Cena t-shirts out there looking like John Cena in the audience? How many John Cena and WWE Pro Wrestling t-shirts can you really have either way? You can never have enough. How about y'all stop buying them 2K video games? Because come on, really. I know you bought 25, 24, 23, 22. You probably got WWE No Mercy somewhere. You've spent a lot of money on WWE wrestling games. Our American fans, listen to me. Everybody else that's not an American fan, just sit back right now. I'm talking to us fellow American fans right now. Our wallets speak really loud, okay? But WWE, they proved that they don't care. You know what, damn it? It's 12:45 Eastern on the United States here in New York. I might have to drop a curse word. Kids, cover your ears. Cover your ears, kids. Our wallets, they speak really loudly. But WWE proved that they don't give a fuck. They'll just go to Saudi Arabia either way and just go make the money. They don't care about us. I said it. I said it. WWE doesn't care about us. All they want to do is collect the money at the end of the day, but damn it, can you really be upset with them? It's a business. I mean, like, still got rent to pay at the end of the month. Look, let's be real. Are you boycotting this WrestleMania, or are you going to just watch it anyway? I might watch it. I ain't going front. I might watch it. I don't know. Maybe they'll piss me off enough. I still haven't put the money into ESPN yet to even go get the app or anything like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I still haven't done that yet. I don't know. WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, some call it global growth. Others call it the biggest sellout in pro wrestling history. The checks are massive. The tradition, it's gone. And the fans, I think a lot of us are right down split, maybe not the middle. There's probably 10% of the fans that are like, all right, I'm excited, right? Because those are the ones that live in Saudi Arabia. But WWE, they've already made their choice. And now the only question that is left is, what do you do? Do you boycott? Do you rage online? Or do you just watch anyway? Just like WWE is betting, they're betting that we all will. It doesn't matter. So what I want you to do is I want you to drop your takes into the comments. I want you to call the Pro Wrestling Hotline at 973-826-0101 and feel free to send me an email at tristenlawshowmedia@gmail.com. I'm going to be gone for the next week. There's going to be no episodes. There might be some shorts that pop up. You know, the best thing about scheduling all your shorts, so you don't have to worry about them. Sometimes I forget that shorts come out. But I'm looking forward to spending time with you when I come back. And I hope that when I come back, not this week, but the week after, you know what? I may come back next weekend and drop a special episode for you guys. But I'm going to try to have a woman on with me, because there's a lot of things that women talk about and understand that I don't see. Well, what do you think? Did WrestleMania sell out or not? That's the question. This is the Tristen Law Show. I'm Tristen Law. If you like what I did today, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Fernando. Thank you, Universal. And thank you, everybody else that's in the chat. Thank you for the likes. I look forward to being with you next time. This is the Tristen Law Show, and I'm Tristen Law, and I'll see you next time.